Hi, welcome back. On the last video, we checked how we can validate a SharePoint list. So when Microsoft Forms has been submitted and we want to save that data in a SharePoint list, we saw how we can validate if that item that has been submitted already exists or not. And if it exists, then we update the item. If it doesn't exist, then we create a new. And we also were checking on the calendar week, if you remember. So on the comments below, and also on a couple of other videos, I read that people were asking if we can do something similar with Excel. Apparently, many people still use Excel for small data storage, which is also fine, and they want to do something similar. So today we're going to see how we can do that with Excel, and I have prepared a small table with a couple of data, and we are going to see how we can check on the date that the forms has been submitted. We are still going to use forms, and also then if on that same day there are multiple, there are already a couple of items entered in the Excel table, we will see if that in the same day those items already exist or not. And if yes, we'll update. If no, we'll create a new one. Stick around, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and make sure to subscribe. So here we are, this is the Excel table that I've prepared. We have a couple of columns here, which is the product, category, the price, and the entry date. So the user will submit a Microsoft Forms with a couple of questions, the product, the category, and the price, and the entry date will be received from the submission date. So this is the table, I'll put it on the side. And I've already prepared it, so we can take a look how it looks like, and then we can build it together. So before we do that, I have saved the table in my development environment in the document section. So this will be like a static place. It will not be dynamic to see which Excel table is there and so on. We will use one static table for this use case. And yeah, so this is the forms. As you can see here, you can submit the product, category, and the price. And by submission, the date will be received as well. So as you can see here, this was a test run. And when the submission is, when the form has been submitted, the flow will be triggered. And then we will get the responses. I'm initializing a variable here so that I can put the products in a string. We'll see that in a second. I list the rows present in that table, so to see what's already in there. And then I filter that array based on a long code here that I will show you in a second. And if that's equal to the date that I am using now, or that the submission has been done, then I will go into the condition. So I filter the array based on the date, and then I go into the condition where I see if the response is equal to null, and if yes, then I will do on the left hand side the actions. If no, then I don't have any entry at all. No? So I will then go the no path, and here in the yes path I pass the JSON of that body again that I get from the filter array, and yeah, I do then apply to each to append the products in the string. And then I compose it into one, as a data action here, I compose it so that I can see them in a variable. I think it's easier for me. I think it's the same, it's unnecessary, but when I troubleshoot it, I like to see then in the run after the run what data is in there. And here I would have to go through each step, and here I have everything in one view. And then I do another condition and I see if the outputs of this compose contains the name of the product that has been submitted. And if yes, I update a row. If no, I add a row into a table. So let's take a look how we can build this. And I will start a new Power Automate instance here with automated. And I will choose when a new response is submitted. Demo flow Excel validation. I'll select create. So pick a form. My form is called product entry form. I'm looking on the left hand side since I have there the screen that I just showed you, so that I don't do any mistakes. And get responses. So now I need to choose my form again, which was product entry form, and the response ID comes from that over there. Next, I want to initialize the variable. So this will be my var product, and it will be a string. Next, I will list list rows present in a table. As I said, my location of the location of my table is static, so this will not change. That's why I'm just yeah, I will just go there and pick the table and the file and the table. So next, what I want to do is I want to do a filter array. So when we do the get rows present in a table, I have now the values. So what I want to do with this is I want to filter the dates based on the submission date. So if I would put here the entry date is equal to the where is it, submission date, and let's take a look. Let's test this. Has to be manual. The entry form is here. So now my flow is waiting. The last entry was 14, so let's do another one. Product number 15, category number 15, and I don't know, doesn't matter, send. So let's take a look. And as you can see here, the body is empty because the dates here are formatted in a very different way. As you can see here, the entry date in the Excel table, we have the entry dates formatted as date with hour and so on. And when you do the lists rows present in a table, this is how the Excel connector brings back those dates. And we need to transform these dates into the normal format to compare it. And then another issue that is connected with this date formatting is that this is a float number. So you see here .375. We need to turn this into an integer and then transform it to a normal date. And for that I have prepared an expression here. Let me copy it in Notepad here. So let's make this big. And as you can see here, I hope you can see. Let's make it as big as possible. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying if, and then if it's empty, I'm checking if the row is empty. And then I am getting the first, and then I'm splitting the string by the dot. So the value that is after the, I removed it. The value that is after that formatting, the dot something, the number, and it was dot and then a couple of other numbers, I need to remove that. So I only need to keep the integer value. No? And then null, no, if it's empty. Otherwise, add days. This is the expression you need. And then I'm splitting that again. And this is the format that I want to have afterwards. No? So I will get this and paste it in here in the expression section. So the submission time is also not formatted the way we are receiving now this one. So we need to compare this two. So the submission time will have to be in the same format like the left-hand side. And for that, I have another expression here from my tests. So this one here. So as you can see, I'm formatting the datetime, the outputs of the get response details body submission date. Now that's the time we submitted the form, and I'm formatting it in the same way this one is looking as well. So the left-hand side of the comparison needs to be similar to the right-hand side. So this one goes here on the right hand side in the expression section. And now we are filtering the array. Next step I want to see is how long the response of this filter array is. So if it is 0, then it means the item is not in the table and I want to create a new item. If it's not 0, then I want to update an item. So the first validation will be based on the date. That's why we are filtering here. So I'm going to do a condition here, and I want to say in the expression the length of it's waiting a collection, array string. I'm going to go to the dynamic content and get the filter array. So this would be then in here, select OK, and now I'm going to say is not equal to, in the expression section, I'm going to write null. And select OK. So if it is this resolves to false, it will go to the no path. And here I want to go to the Excel action and I want to add a row. I'm going to select the location. This is my development environment, the document library, the file, product table, and the table is the only table I have. Now we will see the columns in there. And in the product section, I will put the product that's coming from my forms, from the response details, the category as well, the price, and the entry date is the submission time. So I'm going to save this. And on the left-hand side, I'm going to do a parse JSON. And because I need the schema here, so I will generate this from a sample, but that's why I've saved. But so we need to get the sample, and we can get the sample from the filter array because here we are going to put the body of the filter array. So if we go back, I had a run here somewhere, and the filter array brought back this body. We can see it here as well. You can either copy it from here, or I can just copy it from here. Then I go back in the edit mode, and in my parse JSON, which is now gone, I will select the content will be the body from that filter array, and here generate from sample. I'm going to paste that, select done, and this will now generate the schema based on that response. So now I'm passing this JSON body from the filter array so that I can put in my variable var products all the products that are inside this array. So I will do an append to string action. The name is var products. It's the one we initialize here. And the values are, as you can see now, because we are parsing that JSON, we can choose a value from that array, from the list rows present table. And I want to see if the product, which is this column here, already exists. This will create an apply to each, of course, because it's a loop. There are many items in a JSON body, and it's an array, of course. And I want to split the products with a semicolon. Otherwise, they will be concatenated together. So this is now for collecting my products. As I mentioned in the beginning, I like to see all the products then from my variable in one place. And in here, I will have to jump through each, apply to each iteration. So I like to do a compose action, and I put the var products in here so that I can see what's in the variable if I want to troubleshoot. So if I will test this now, we will see that the date already exists. That's why it's not creating a new table. It's not creating a new row in the table. And I'm passing that JSON. These are all the entries that are in there with that date. So as you can see here, the day that I submitted the forms is the 27th of November. And if we see in the table, if I filter here on the On the 27th, we have eight items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the items that are being brought back in my filter array based on the date. So now I want to see here what products do I have. I recently submitted the product number 15. So if that's in the same date, I want to see if also the product exists. If that's not in the same date, it doesn't matter. Then that will go this path here, and it will just create a new row. But if it's the same date and it is the same product, I want to update it. So what I'm doing here is I'm parsing the JSON that is from the array. And as you saw, those are the 8 items that come from the same date. And then I'm doing an apply to each, appending to string variable. And as you can see here, this is putting all those products values from the Excel table. So product 8, 10, 11, 9, and so on and so forth. And these are 8 items. That's why you see here 1 of 8. Now if we go through, this will see then the products. And that's what I meant before, that I cannot see here what is in my variable. I mean, I can see them, that these are added to my variable, but I don't have an overview. If I go to the last item, I'll just see the last item. I cannot see the all items that are in there. That's why I like to do the compose. And here, as you can see, I can see all my values that are in my variable. No? Or here's good enough. So now what I want to do is I will do another condition, and I will say that if the product that has been just submitted is in this compose, or is contained in this compose, then I want to update it. If it's not contained in this compose, then it should create a new item. So let's go back to edit. I want to do another condition, and here I want to say that the var products, if it contains the one product that comes from the submission, and if yes, I want to update the row. Go to my location, select the library, select the file, and now it's a bit, no, let's select the table. And now it's a bit tricky because you need to select a key column and a key value. So it is good to select something that is not going to have 0 values, like empty and null values. And I'm going to select the product column. So I want to see if in the column product, there is the value 15, for example. Because when it's updating, it will search for that product 15. And you should not be updating or trying to update something. For example, if you give the product 16, the flow should not try to update, because the product 16 will work as a key value. And if it's not found, it will it will get you an error. It will show you an error. So make sure that you select the right column and the right item, the key value for flow to search, and do the update. So here I will give the column product, and the key value will come from the product submission. So if I submit 15, then the update a row action will search in the column product for the product 15. And then it will update this product 15 with the value that I put here in this product, which is again the product from my forms. The category remains the same, comes also from forms, price as well, and the entry date as well, which is the submission time. And if I don't have the product that I just submitted in this variable, I want to create a new row. Go to the Excel Online Actions again, and somewhere here, add a row into a table. Find my location, the document library, my file, and my table. So the product is again everything coming from my forms. Category, the price, and the entry date. Let's save it. I will make this a little bit smaller and have my table next to it. Table doesn't have to be that big, so to make it like something like that. Okay. So I will go now to my forms. Before I do that, I will put this in a manual test. I will remove the filters here so that we can see all the data. And I will publish, or I will post or submit a new form. So first I will create a new one. I will go here and say product 16, category 16, and price is 888. It doesn't matter. Select send, go back to Power Automate. My flow is running. It ran successfully. And on the right hand side, we should see now the new product. As you can see, product 16, the price and the submission date, which is the same like today. It's still the same day. So now if I want to go and edit the product 15, I will put my flow again in the test mode. I only do this so that it runs faster. I actually don't have to. The flow is turned on, it will take a couple of seconds and then it will run by itself. But yeah, so I will now like to update product 15. Keep in mind that if you write something wrong here, it will result in an error. So this is not the way you should do it. You should use the key columns maybe with a drop down, like something that's prefixed and cannot be should not be written manually by the user, because that's prompt to failure or errors. So product 15, and then the category is the same. 15, and I want to do the product 15 has the price 757. I want to round it up to 800. Select send. Flow is running. Ran successfully. And if we see here, the product 15 has turned to 800. And this is how you can validate based on the date and the product. This is a use case I thought about, but of course there are millions and millions of use cases out there where you can utilize a solution like that. I understand that many people still use Excel. I think the Excel connectors in Power Automate are not that user-friendly. SharePoint is much easier, as you might have seen on the previous video. But yeah, here you go. If you want to use Excel, use this solution, and you should be good to go. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and if you did so, make sure that you subscribe and give it a like, and yeah, catch you on the next video. Bye.